war between the states.
And slavery. How could it ever be allowed to own another person?
How could they have just kidnapped people and turned them into property?
How could they have split up families?
Kids and parents auctioned off and treated like replaceable things.
Slavery. Just because someone looked different.
How? Why?
Money. It was all about the money. Southern crops mainly tobacco, sugarcane, and rice. And those needed huge farms to be profitable. And huge farms need lots of workers. Slaves are cheap.
But they were people. But they were cheap. But they were people.
Wait, didn't Lincoln stop slavery?
Sure did. In 1863, he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, freed the slaves.
In 1865, Congress passed the 13th Amendment, which outlawed slavery for good.
Hooray!
So the Civil War was about slavery?
Not really, but it's a huge issue. It started off in many southern states didn't agree on how the country was being run, so they seceded.
They what?
They seceded. They left. They declared themselves independent.
And that caused the Civil War?
Pretty much. The North of the Union wanted the country to unite versus the South of the Confederates. Yankees versus rebels. Sometimes brother versus brother. It was the deadliest war in our history with the bloodiest battle.
Gettysburg.
Lincoln visited Gettysburg afterwards and dedicated a memorial to those who died. His speech, the Gettysburg Address, was so short that many people who were used to the speeches lasting 3 hours or more weren't even paying attention.
You should pay attention.
We are met on a great battlefield of that war.
We have come here to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those that gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this.
But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract.
The world will little know what has been said here, but it will long remember what they did here.
It is for us, the living, rather to dedicate here to the unfinished work which they who fought thus so nobly attained.
us to be dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that when these on our dead, we take this devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full dedication.
And we here highly resolve that the dead shall not have died in vain, but that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
That
Of the people, by the people, for
Lincoln was number 16, so who was in between?
How come we don't hear so much about them?
Yeah, I can never remember those old guys. Maybe this will help. You know the old Revolutionary War tune, Yankee Doodle Dandy? Well, here's a different version.